Right now, to power its heavy industries and supply gas to its homes, India relies heavily on ships exactly like this one. The country operates under a strict deadline to reach developed nation status by 2047. But as long as the foundation of that economic growth is tied to volatile, foreign-controlled gas supply chains, true energy security remains out of reach. To solve that vulnerability, the country is looking downward. India is sitting on roughly 400 billion tons of coal. That is enough domestic energy to last 400 years, making it the second largest coal producer on Earth. Actually extracting it is a massive, highly physical operation. The industry is pulling millions of tons of solid rock from the Earth every day just to keep the grid running. So we are left with a glaring contradiction. India has centuries' worth of energy buried right under its feet, yet it still pays heavily to import the gas required to run a modern economy. Historically, the process for using all that domestic coal has been entirely straightforward. You burn the rock, the heat boils water into steam, the steam spins a turbine, and you get electricity. Today, that basic sequence provides nearly 80% of the nation's power. But direct combustion is an incredibly blunt tool. Burning raw coal releases a high volume of soot, carbon dioxide, and other heavy byproducts. You cannot safely pipe that raw exhaust into a home kitchen, and you can't use it as a clean feedstock for modern manufacturing. To solve that exact physical limitation, the government has stepped in with a 37,500 crore rupee incentive package. This is a significant chemical engineering challenge, transforming solid, polluting rock into a clean, versatile synthetic gas. This chart maps the single most important metric for coal quality: pure carbon concentration. The higher the carbon percentage, the cleaner it burns. At the top, between 86 and 97%, is anthracite, a highly efficient fuel with almost no impurities. India has very little naturally, so it buys it from Australia. Lower on the scale is what India has in abundance. Bituminous coal sits between 45 and 80%, while lignite drops down to just 25 to 35%. Those missing percentages are entirely made up of water, sulfur, and other physical impurities. When you burn this grade of rock directly, those extras oxidize, creating heavy pollution and lowering the overall energy output. Because the domestic supply is packed with impurities, simply mining more won't replace imported gas. The actual chemical state of the rock has to be altered. That brings us to the centerpiece of the new government package, a process called coal gasification. Instead of throwing the coal into a furnace, it is fed into a heavily controlled reactor. Inside, the rock is blasted with pure oxygen and steam, driving the internal temperature up to 1,000 degrees Celsius. This extreme environment breaks the coal's chemical bonds without allowing full combustion. Heavy impurities are stripped away, leaving syngas, a clean mixture of carbon monoxide and hydrogen. From there, those molecules are refined into synthetic natural gas, mimicking the chemical properties of imported methane. By controlling the reaction this precisely, gasification completely bypasses the carbon quality problem. It takes a massive supply of low-grade rock and converts it directly into a premium, clean-burning fuel. The government actually tried to launch a national coal gasification mission back in 2021. They offered an 8,500 crore incentive, but the capital required to build these advanced reactors was simply too high, and private companies stayed away. The new 37,000 crore package is designed to absorb those massive upfront costs, significantly lowering the financial risk, so the private sector will actually build the infrastructure. This chart tracks the timeline they are working against. There is a rigid, non-negotiable target to successfully gasify 100 million tons of coal by the year 2030. They have exactly 4 years left to scale this industry. This level of capital investment positions coal gasification as a critical pillar of national energy defense. If they hit that target, the downstream effects will be massive. Syngas from domestic coal will flow into chemical plants to produce urea for agricultural fertilizers, provide clean heat for heavy industry, and eventually replace the piped natural gas used in millions of Indian homes. Mastering this chemistry solves the great paradox of the country's grid. By engineering a way to cleanly process its most abundant and problematic rock, India secures the exact energy it needs to build a self-reliant economy.